Ghost in the Shell is a Japanese media franchise originally published as a seinen manga series of the same name written and illustrated by Masamune Shirow. The manga, first serialized in 1989 under the subtitle of The Ghost in the Shell, and later published as its own tankōbon volumes by Kodansha, told the story of the fictional counter-cyberterrorist organization Public Security Section 9, led by protagonist Major Motoko Kusanagi, in the mid-21st century of Japan. Animation studio Production I.G has produced several different anime adaptations of Ghost in the Shell, starting with the 1995 film of the same name, telling the story of Section 9's investigation of the puppet master. The television series Ghost in the Shell, standalone complex followed in 2002, telling an alternate story from the manga and first film, featuring Section 9's investigations of government corruption in The Laughing Man and Individual 11 incidents. The year 2013 saw the start of the Ghost in the Shell, a Rise film series with the release of the first 2 episodes. The third episode of the 4-part series is set to be released on June 28, 2014. Title: Shirow has stated that he had always wanted the title of his manga to be Ghost in the Shell, even in Japan, but his original publishers preferred Kōkaku Kidōtai. He had chosen Ghost in the Shell in homage to Arthur Koestler's The Ghost in the Machine, from which he also drew inspiration. Setting: primarily set in the mid-21st century in the fictional Japanese city of Niiyama, Niiyama Prefecture, otherwise known as Newport City, the manga and the many anime adaptations follow the members of Public Security Section 9, a special operations task force made up of former military officers and police detectives. Political intrigue and counter-terrorism operations are standard fare for Section 9, but the various actions of corrupt officials, companies, and cybercriminals in each scenario are unique and require the diverse skills of Section 9 staff to prevent a series of incidents from escalating. In this post-cyberpunk iteration of a possible future, computer technology has advanced to the point that many members of the public possess cyberbrains, technology that allows them to interface their biological brain with various networks. The level of cyberization varies from simple minimal interfaces to almost complete replacement of the brain with cybernetic parts, in cases of severe trauma. This can also be combined with various levels of prostheses, with a fully prosthetic body enabling a person to become a cyborg. The heroine of Ghost in the Shell, Major Motoko Kusanagi, is such a cyborg, having had a terrible accident befall her as a child that ultimately required that she use a full-body prosthesis to house her cyberbrain. This high level of cyberization, however, opens the brain up to attacks from highly skilled hackers, with the most dangerous being those who will hack a person to bend to their whims. Media, original manga. The Ghost in the Shell originally ran from April 1989 to November 1990 in Kodansha's manga anthology Young Magazine, and was released in tankōbon format on October 2, 1991. Ghost in the Shell 2, Man-Machine Interface ran in Young Magazine from September 1991 to August 1997. 4 chapters that were not released in tankōbon format from previous releases were later collected into a single volume titled Ghost in the Shell 1.5 Human Error Processor, serving as an intercal. The manga was published on July 23, 2003 by Kodansha. Several art books have also been published for the manga. Animated films. 2 animated films based on the original manga have been released, both directed by Mamoru and animated by Production I.G. Ghost in the Shell was released in 1995 and follows the Puppet Master storyline from the manga. It was re-released in 2008 as Ghost in the Shell 2.0 with new audio and updated 3D computer graphics in certain scenes. Innocence, otherwise known as Ghost in the Shell 2, Innocence, was released in 2004, with its story based on a chapter from Man-Machine Interface. Video games. Ghost in the Shell was developed by Exact and released for the PlayStation on July 17, 1997, in Japan by Sony Computer Entertainment. It is a third-person shooter featuring an original storyline where the character plays a rookie member of Section 9. The video game's soundtrack Megatek Body features various electronic artists. Several video games were also developed to tie into the standalone complex television series. Live-action adaptation. In 2008, DreamWorks and Steven Spielberg acquired the rights to produce a live-action film adaptation of the original manga. Ari Arad, and Stephen Paul were later confirmed as producers, with Jamie Moss to write the screenplay. In October 2009, it was announced that Lothar Kalogridis had replaced Moss as writer. On January 24, 2014, it was reported that Rupert Sanders will direct the film, with a screenplay by William Wheeler. Standalone complex. In 2002, Ghost in the Shell, standalone complex premiered on an IMAX, presenting a new telling of Ghost in the Shell independent from the original manga, focusing on Section 9's investigation of the Laughing Man hacker. It was followed in 2004 by a second season titled Ghost in the Shell, SAC. Second G.I.G., which focused on the individual 11 terrorist group. Both seasons' primary storylines were compressed into OVAs broadcast as Ghost in the Shell, standalone complex The Laughing Man in 2005 and Ghost in the Shell, standalone complex Individual 11 in 2006. Also in 2006, Ghost in the Shell, standalone complex, Solid State Society, featuring Section 9's confrontation with a hacker known as the Puppeteer, was broadcast, serving as a finale to the anime series. The extensive score for the series and its films was composed by Yoko Kanno. In addition to the anime, a series of published books, 2 separate manga adaptations, and several video games for consoles and mobile phones have been released for standalone complex. An MMORPG has also been in development for several years. Arise. Ghost in the Shell, Arise is another animated iteration that takes place in yet another alternate setting, set before the original manga. It is being released as a series of OVAs, with Kazuchika Kais as chief director and Toa Bakata as head writer. Cornelius was brought onto the project to compose the score for the OVAs. A manga adaptation began serialization in Kodansha's Young Magazine's April 2013 issue, released March 13, 2013. Notes. References. External links: Madman Entertainment's Australian distribution release site.